Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass and this is our Conquest Con Battle Report. I went to the Michigan GT down in the US. I drove down to Iowa. Apex Chinchilla and I hung out, and then him and I drove all the way to Michigan. At some point, he'll tell his side of the story, but at some point the AC in the truck decides to not work, and then it works when we finally get there. So there's a couple hours where it got a little hot. The venue was nice, met up with a bunch of the guys, we chatted, had dinner, and then we got into the games. First thing I did before I played any games was actually buy stuff. I went and bought a bunch of Magma and Steel Temple and I think an old Dominion character. Mostly because last time I was at a convention at Adepticon, I was like, oh, I'll buy everything at the end after everything's done. And then I went into the Parabellum booth and everything was sold out. And I'm like, oh, next time I'm just buying first thing. So I've learned from last time I bought everything first thing. But let's get into the games, let's talk about it. I'm playing back to Magma. If I remember, the list is in the description below. If it's not, there's battle reports to be playing back to Magma. It's the same thing. So, my first opponent here is playing City States. They got some Bow-Goats, 3 Chariots, a Talos, big hot block. They have, I believe, a Polemarch with some Magma, Minotaur Haspian, Promethean. They're all running around. So here's turn 1. I get all my lights in. I'm already starting to set my castle up between here and here where that black line is. My opponent's looking to kind of push forward, shoot back. I believe these are forests. Not 100% sure, but it doesn't really matter. These pieces of terrain here, you know what? I'll circle that in. They're like size 2 obstruction, or not obstructions, obscuring. So they're traversable, but you can just get obscuring when going through it. So that's kind of nice. That's really turn 1, establishing a good solid Dweghom castle, hoping to get more stuff on next turn. So here for turn 2, my opponent gets a bunch of stuff. I get both my Drakes. I establish the Dweghom castle, still looking to do it. So, Dweghom castle, still looking to do it. My opponent, he's starting to look to push this flank. He knows I'm heavily deploying over on the right side. He's dropping a lot of stuff there. I don't know if that's too much stuff, but it is a lot of stuff. He's also going wide with his chariots. I think he's trying to get in behind me and side shoot out of the chariots. I'm not really caring that much. I'm looking to establish, right off the bat, I'm looking to crush this side over here and take all that for myself, and then push outward into this side and fight him back and, get him that way. But that's really turn 2. Dweghom castle confirmed. Here's turn 3. So, my opponent, he's doing some work into my Flame Berserks on this side. Let me make that better. There we go. One more time. There we go. And he's got the rest of his list on the table. You got the Magmas and the Talos. They're kind of pushing into my center, but they got to be careful. I got my Drakes in the way. I'm taking plot shots at these Hephaestion with the Hellbringer Drakes. These guys, I don't know what they're called. The Bow-Goats, they're getting hit by Pyroclast and losing a bunch. Chariots are kind of running around doing side shots. But I'm bringing up the Wardens here, trying to deal with this Chariot. The right side is kind of falling apart for my opponent, so I just gotta kill it quickly so that I can swing the rest of my force onto the left side. And lastly, I pull up my Fireforged to kind of take a shot at these Minotaurs and do a bunch of damage. However, my opponent's coming up with Minotaurs, the Medium Giant, and a Chariot. His Hoplite block is just touching the zone. I think he's up on points by 2, but nothing too crazy. Maybe 3, because I think this is the one, if you have more, you get 1 extra point. But it's nothing too crazy. I can still catch up. But the lines are starting to shift, and it's mainly between those 2 obstructions. Turn, I believe this is 4. So, kind of mistake here. Minotaurs get shot down to 1 stand, as you can see. So they're kind of broken, and they're in the zone. But I should have ran these Wardens up to, touching the zone. I didn't do that, mostly because I didn't want to get charged by the Promethean. But I should have anyway, because my opponent, I believe, just rolls the dice and gets in. And at that point, or he march charged me, but at that point, I would have been on the zone and scoring this one, or keeping, no, sorry, not scoring, but keeping him out. So he's getting a couple extra points here. But it's not the end of the world. I can kind of fight this off. Fireforged and Wardens will, eat that Drake, or that Giant. Minotaur's gonna go down, and then it's just a Chariot I can just chase off. So if I do some, decent dice rolls on this left side, it'll turn around. and then I can push this way. As for the right side, one of the chariots is dead over here that's been shooting. Kind of pop that. Flame Berserks into the goats. You know, shut him down. Stop that. And lastly, my opponent gets his chariot into my back, and my wardens just turn around and charge it, keeping it stuck back there. I'm not too worried. Those wardens will come into effect later on and help me out, but that chariot needs to stop, and I kind of need to get rid of it. As for my opponent, you know, gets his hot block into my Flame Berserks, Fireforged Drake, just unloading into the Hoplites. It's just, like, if you can get side shots, you can really cut through Hoplites very quickly because they lose their shield and phalanx, and then at AP2, they're just dying. My opponent gets stuck here with his Ogma. He can't really commit. There's no way to kind of get into either the Drake or the Flame Berserks or the Ballistae. My opponent decides to March Charge his Talos in. I have 5 stands to his 6, so he does score that zone, but the Talos gets hammered by the Hellbringer Drake, and I think some, like, Pyroclasts go out, doing a bunch of damage. So the Talos is getting really weak, and I'm looking to kill that. I'm kind of looking to just kind of kill my opponent, then score all the zones. It can kind of go either way, but it's slowly starting to go my way at this point. Because I've kind of, like, the right flank is just going to collapse. Then I can swing my resources over. Left side, I just got to kill that giant. Won't be too tough, and then that's kind of broken because one Minotaur is not going to save him on the left side from the Wardens and Fireforged. And then I just need to keep my center alive long enough to fight back the Hoplites and the Talos. If I kill one of the 3, if I kill 2 of the 3, I'm in a really good spot. And if he doesn't get enough work in, that's kind of what my deal here is. I have a ton of tokens that I'm using to keep stuff alive, but you can only do so much. Let's go, I think it might be turn 5. Let's go look at that. Here's the next turn. So, things that go on, Hoplites, they get blasted and die. I believe my Flame Berserkers die. Fireforged just rip them apart. Then my Hellbringer Drake drops a bunch of shots into the Ogmas, who then charge into the Drake and deal a bunch of damage by use tokens, and the Drake's just tankiness to hold them off, and they're not doing so well. But I have this clear shot for next turn into the flank of the Ogma, so they're all gonna die. What else is going on? There's the chariot over here on this right side. Dies to Wardens. Does some fights back, and the Wardens are looking to move this way. Then we got the Flame Berserks who killed the Bow Goats. So now we can look into scoring that zone once the Warden and the Ardent get over there. Lastly, my opponent does a bunch of damage to the Ballistae, but the Ballistae hold, and the Drake keeps unloading into the flank of the Talos at defense 3 with all the shots. The Talos is starting to go down. Not living too long. Wardens and Fireforged kill off the medium giant over here. This is where my mistake gets exacerbated, I believe would be the word, because I didn't have the Wardens in the zone. Minotaur just charges me and keeps me out, but he's not really gonna be doing that much. The Chariot's kind of flubbing a couple rolls. We'll use blue. Yeah, like, he isn't doing a ton of damage into the Fireforged or the Wardens. I forget which one he's shooting, but like, Wardens being defense 4, even at the AP1, they kind of live, and so they're kind of pushing this back, and I'm looking to kind of go across the table. So with one of these big blocks dead and the other block at half health, I'm in a really good spot. So I'm just kind of closing up the game at that point. Here's the next turn. Actually, I don't think this is the next turn. I think it might be like turn 8. I think I skipped a turn, but basically, very quickly, I know Ogma die, like, very quickly to the Fireforge. You know, Drake gets up here with an H shooting the objective. Talos dies to the other Drake, and then, you know, he's walking to get within the objective, so they're going to shoot that. Ballistae die, whatever. Wardens, I think the Wardens, they didn't side charge. They kind of just ran up after a reform, and they put the score spell on these Flame Berserk, so, you know, I can score that. So right now I'm scoring 3 zones, so I'm really rocking up in points. I'm looking to kill my opponent's objective. And lastly, these guys are looking to go here. These guys are looking to go here. And then I'll have all the zones, and I'll be good. Yeah, here we go. So, that's it. Have all the zones, win the game. I think it's like 43 to 20 or something, but good game overall. Cleaned up city-states. So, round 1 win. Let's go to round 2. Here's round 2. I'm playing into Chuck, who's a very, very, very good Nords player. He's played War Machine since like Mark 1. So, him and I are going to have a really clean game of Conquest, what I really enjoyed when him and I played. So, yeah. First thing first, all my lights come onto the table. I'm looking to establish the Dweghom castle between these two zones. I'm also trying to use this forest here to keep my Drake safe, and we'll go from there. My opponent gets both his bow chosen on. He's just looking to kind of shoot me and keep me away. Flame Berserks the first, probably going to get eaten by bow chosen just because there's not a huge amount of cover on this table. Not a ton of trees or obscuring and stuff, but we got to make do. Next turn, get both my Drakes and the Wardens with the Argent. That's really good, starting to generate tokens. Drake's already looking to get up on the table and start casting spells. We're going to look into scoring the zone, but my opponent uses Vanguard from his Shaman to get the trolls off the side of the table into the zone with 2 stands. Well, I have 2 stands, so I don't score that zone. Kind of sucks, but I do have follow-ups to kind of kill these trolls and, you know, guns and stuff, so I'm hoping to kill those trolls. The bow chosen, just railing shots into the Flame Berserks, trying to mitigate that as much as I can. Not getting super aggressive because I'm trying to keep them alive. These Flame Berserks are going to be relegated mostly to dealing with bow chosen, just dying, dying for the cause. My opponent does the same thing on the other side, so he's going to score 2 points, and then there's nothing else there. What else is there? Oh, and his Shaman is in the back here, running up the table. So, and those Raiders are medium, so they can score a zone. Alright, let's go to the next turn. Here's, I believe, not turn 3, this is turn 4. I might have forgot turn 3 photo. But basically for turn 3, I do a bunch of work. I'll do it in orange. I do a bunch of work into these bosun and these trolls. My opponent used Herald of the Storm, what prevents me from spellcasting, or I would have probably Pyroclast and for sure confirmed the kill on one of the two. But that does leave him alive with each 1 extra stand, what means I have to just deal with it. The Flame Berserks and the Trolls go into each other on turn 4 or turn 3, and then I believe when the Jotnars come on, they just like throw some spells and throw some stuff at them and do a bunch of damage, because they get free casting and free shots. So I believe the free casting from the Ice guy doesn't happen because of the Herald of Storm, but the shot guy does enough damage to kill the Flame Berserks, what really sucks. Hoping to keep them alive an extra turn. Because now it's, you know, 1 stand of trolls. I've broken them, they rallied, they broke around, you know, it's back and forth, that stuff, kind of stuff. With that, I get my Wardens and Flame Berserks. Probably should have had more stuff on this side, because both Giants double deploying there is really rough. My opponent's scoring on the left here uncontested. Bow Chosen and Uger are doing some good work, you know, putting pressure on my center but not committing, and I'm not really committing aggressively either. He's kind of waiting until he can kind of jam me up and get enough force, which is smart on him. And those double Giants coming on the right means he's going to try and break through on the right side into me. So let's see how that goes. This might be turn 5 or 6, I'm not exactly sure. But he's got both Giants, they kill off the Wardens, I kill off his Trolls, he secured that zone. Not doing the greatest right now against those 2 Giants, I don't really have anything else. Wardens get shot up and broke, so I can't march charge into the Bow Chosen and hold them down. That was kind of my plan there. And then I deploy another unit of Fireforged to help the center out. I kill Uger, who run into my Ballistae. Yay. And he's kind of like just trying to jam me out and keep me off, because right now he's scoring all 3 objective zones. It's not that great. I've only gotten like 2 points. So this is not going to be super great. He's kind of breaking me and not really committing and only doing safe plays. What's smart on him. Chuck's a really good player, kind of master of positioning, and he's using Nords. And if you are really good at positioning, Nords are just going to make you better. Well, I wouldn't say better, but you're going to get a lot more out of Nords than you would. So let's go to the next turn. Here we go. Giants kill Fireforged. Giants get into the Drake. Not that great. I'm looking to kind of crumple his middle, prevent him from scoring. Wardens are dead. He's looking to kind of keep pushing. Maybe I should deploy, just like drop more stuff on the right side. One of the other mistakes I made was I didn't drop a Fireforge right here to kind of shoot at Huskarls and just kind of put pressure on him there. So I kind of gave him that zone. What is usually the Dweghom way, but I'm not on any of the zones. That Vanguard really helped him get up the table very quickly. Which really good. But Chuck's a really good player, and right now he's kind of kicking my ass. So let's go to the next couple turns. There we go. I kill a Giant, he kills a Drake. Everything else is kind of dead. Huskarls and those Fireforged, poor guys, and next turn I believe he kills the other Drake. Yeah, he kills the other Drake, and this is where we kind of call it. So good on Chuck, beat me, great game. We had it super clean, a lot of fun. Would play Chuck again. If you ever get a chance to play Chuck, you're gonna have a great time. So let's go to round 3. Here's round 3. Once again, I'm pairing it in Nords. This gentleman, I believe his name is Charles. He is Chammy on the Discord. Wonderful guy, super nice. Him and I were drinking some beers that were not from the convention, and like a security guard came by. And I thought it was his mom because she came up like she knew him and like looked at us and looked at the table and just went, mm-hmm. And then was like, oh, it's not his mom. This is an actual security guard trying to peer pressure us. So we drank our beers in peace, but she saw the empty cans. As for the game itself, I get my regular castle. These guys in orange are not on the table yet. I just threw them there because I've mostly been putting a tray full of dudes underneath the table. My opponent is playing like 4 Bow Chosen. I think he had double Icy Otnar, 2 Trolls, a Jarl, Raiders and Jarl. He's doing the Jarl list, so all the characters' hands can score, which is really nice. He gets all his light, so it's like, oh boy. So he's kind of making a massive play to control, for sure, this zone, and, you know, probably try and play for that one. I'm looking to make a play for this and kind of like push out this way, and I'll swing it later on. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I'm already looking to get stuff into the forest here and into the zone, so Ballistae are heading that way. And I can make the Ballistae score with the Wardens, so that's what I'm going to do later on. Here we go. So turn 2, I get a really, really, really tight castle. Something I do screw up is right here. This orange line is. I should have had this 3 wide and not 4 wide. It'll make it easier to get around that objective. My opponent has the same problem over here, being 4 wide and, you know, getting around the objective. So we both do it. We just do it on different turns. My tight castle, I get the score spell off on my Ballistae and I score the zone. My opponent, you know, runs up his Jarl and Raiders, score that zone, so we're even. But I'm really looking to establish a line between this house and this objective and then push out. And then the other Flame Berserks here are actually trying to make a beeline for this objective and also deal with anything that kind of decides to come up over there. That's my goal so far. My opponent, he kind of takes some pot shots, nothing super crazy at me, just because I'm in the woods, so he's like half shots and then defense terrain, all that stuff. So I'm kind of fine with that. He's got both his trolls right behind. And we'll get on to turn 3 where things kind of start to establish themselves. So here we go. So first thing I do, I kind of move up the Ballistae, you know, shoot Bow Chosen, where these trolls were. I'm just going to make another blue box. Double Hellbringer Drake, just unload into the Bow Chosen, you know, killing them. Another Hellbringer Drake, I think, you know, from this Pyro class, put some more damage into there. My opponent is trying to like hop on the objective and shoot out and hop back. We get a rule, you can't do that, but he's trying to put some work in. He was trying to basically shoot these guys by popping up and popping back. These Bow Chosen kind of get into a position to start shooting. I believe he like only gets 1 stand-in, takes the shot anyway, and then I just make all the saves, so we're fine there. Icy Otnar making a play on the left here, kind of going wide. I see this coming. These Flame Berserks are either going to go deal with him or they're going to try and get to the side of these trolls. Then I got Fireforged here. We're going to support that flank, followed up by Wardens. So the 2 of them can probably kill that guy. Lastly, I have my Fireforged over here who are going to be looking to get these Raiders, who he's smartly only just towing the zone to keep those points and to keep his Raider safe. But I'm going to make it so that he can either leave the zone and live or come forward and die. And he has to come off the zone to fight me. My opponent then he will eventually just slide these guys in, but that's going to leave them open to Fireforge, which I'm going to take advantage of later on. But one of my opponent's problems in orange is that these trolls can't jump those Bow Chosen, and he kind of mispositioned them a little bit that they would land on that objective, so he has to slide them over. So this is step you on your toes. Him and I talked about this at the end game, and this is kind of where he's getting stuck on himself while I'm just kind of setting up my castle more, shooting into him, doing a bunch of damage. Here's turn 4. Big thing about turn 4, what happened is he deployed an Ice Jotnar here, and he ran it within 16 inches of my guns, like on my Drakes. And I went, okay, and just like unloaded the Drakes into him. So that was a big misplay on my opponent that I took advantage of. Things that went well, these Fireforged come in and slam the trolls, rip them apart and kill them. Other Fireforged go and slam into the Bosun, who drop him down to like 1 stand. Trolls still stuck behind Bosun. That was my plan all along. What makes them, you know, shuffle more. So these trolls have been out of the fight for 2 turns now. It's not that great for my opponent. I just run these warders into the Bosun, and I'm really fine with that. He did shuffle over, as you can see, right here. And my Fireforged decided just to walk up and shoot them, because they're more of a threat than the Raiders. I can deal with those guys at my own leisure, and I'm not too worried. You see the Pyroclast over there, you know, went off and did a bunch of damage. My opponent kind of wheels around. He's trying to look into the back of these Flame Berserks, you know, trying to get into here. I run the Fireforge up to cover the flank of the Drakes. I really don't want an Ice Jotnar in there. And I set up the Wardens to get into the side of the Ice Jotnar once they hit the Fireforge. So that's kind of what's going on there. But overall, we're both like tied on points, but my opponent's starting to fall apart. And this is kind of a textbook Dweghom castle right now. So next turn, Bosun, kill Flame Berserks. I think hold Ballistae, who are surprisingly still alive, kill Bosun. Trolls move up. He was trying, I think he went for a charge and failed and kind of walked up, or he walked up and then tried to go for a charge and failed or something, I don't know. But he ends up in that position. Wardens kill Bow Chosen. Fireforge, shoot Raiders. Flame Berserks here tried to dodge these Fireforge, but they needed 2 and roll a 1, so, you know, it's pretty common. Ice Jotnar decides to get into the Flame Berserks. Gets shot by Drakes. Wardens go into the flank. I rolled the 3, I'm in. And then, you know, that's kind of it from there. So the rest of the game is just, at this point, clean up and then scoring all the zones and taking a lead. So there we go. Everything's dead. I don't think I have another photo for this one. Oh, yeah, he went for my objective. He slid in between like the Ballistae and the Wardens, and so kind of went from there. He went for my objective. Probably not the best bet, but he was really didn't have much of an option left. But overall, great game. We kind of talked about it, how he should just check my ranges a little bit more, like what 16 is, what 7 plus 16 is, just to make sure he's out of threat range. It doesn't take unnecessary damage. Like his Ice Jotnar died for free. The other one got bogged down and killed. A lot of his stuff got stuck behind him. And he needs to have better deployment. And what I mean by that is like getting his melee regiments over his shooting regiments. His shooting regiments want to go for bigger stuff or get into the flank of things. I didn't really give him an opportunity to use opportunists because I was playing really tight and not really preventing any of my sides. It was really good on my part. But overall, it was a good game. Great player, great guy. And let's go to round 4. So here's round 4. I'm pretty sure Apex and I are both 2 and 1 right now, so him and I get to play each other. We drove up. So when I was driving up here, I was like, I knew I was probably gonna play someone from the Michigan or the like quotes competent crew, like the guys Ben plays a lot of. And I also was like, oh, I'll probably get Apex at some point. So in this game, Apex and I have played this matchup. We did it on TTS. What was fine. This game, oh, what do I want to say about it? So he's lost, so he knows what to do. I haven't lost, so I don't know what to do to counter his knowing what to do. And some things don't really go great for me right at the start. First off, I only get 1 reinforcement, my auto in, and I failed the 2 others. So I'm like, oh, that's not really great. My Apex, however, gets both his slingers and his hunters, and he's already looking to get into a dominant position. So I gotta be careful. And I gotta hold back until the rest of my list shows up. What's not great, because Dweghom needs to not be slow, because they're dwarves and they're already slow. And they don't got any flank, they don't got any vanguard, they don't got any speed ups. So having poor reinforcement rolls and then being on Forlorn Hope where you can't side deploy stuff kind of pushes them back real hard. And we're gonna get to that. Here's turn 2, crooked photo, sweet. I get both my Drakes. This one is a Drake, he just can't sit on that hill or he'll fall over. Ardent Wardens and the other Drake. Apex and I actually messed this up. We thought these were friendly objectives and not neutral objectives, or this deployment is completely changed for me. I would have pulled on my Ballistae first thing instead of Flame Berserks, and I would have been going for this objective to break it and then open up this middle and go from there, while he would have done the same and then we'd have more space. But right now I'm kind of shoved into a side. Well, it's bad on us, but we also agreed on that's what to do, and we kept it as the game went on. So, nothing too crazy there. Things that kind of go on. I have Pyroclast some wounds off the hunting pack. That's it. Apex, on the other hand, he's looking to get into zones. He's looking to wide flank, you know, stuff like that. His slingers are trying to stay safe. I move back to be out of slinging range. No reason to give him anything. Let's go to the next turn. Here we go. So, because I didn't get any lights on until turn 3. I don't play a tight castle, and I don't have nice space because of this objective being in the way to kind of reinforce. I should have just probably layered more, to be honest, and just ran past it, but I didn't really want something stuck. Use green. No, I'll use purple. I didn't really want anything stuck right here. That was my issue. But I'm already kind of moving Drakes up. I'm dropping Pyroclasts into these slingers, doing damage. I'm just shooting my stuff up the table, gonna make a play to kind of punch through. Hunting pack, they take more damage either from gunshots or from, probably not Pyroclasts. Those are probably gunshots, and then the rest of my list is super wide. And that's probably a problem on my end, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have played way tighter. But, you know, reinforcement rolls happen. Us not playing the scenario correctly happened. It's okay. We agreed and we stuck with it. Apex and I are good buddies. Apex and I are playing a game. We're enjoying ourselves. But I can always call it the mistakes I made and learn from them. So that's okay. And then he scores. I score. Yay. Next turn. So my opponent gets a Tauntaur out, blows up some Wardens. We skip a turn. I get some Flame Berserks into his. Judge came by, we were looking for a charge, and he's like, you can just charge the objective. So I was like, okay, sure. So I just charged the objective. Clean up the type the slingers, and then do a bunch of shots into these slingers, and then Tauntaur march charges into my Wardens, and I was hoping the Wardens would live, but that one hunting pack charges into the side, does enough wounds to kill off the Wardens, and I shoot off the table, but it's like, uh-oh, this is not good. I don't have any frontage, not good. The rest of my frontage is over here, so you can start seeing where that's starting to fall apart. However, we both score each zones, yay! But I'm putting too much work on the right side, and I needed more work on the left side. Tauntaur's taking a bunch of damage from this, but he's double deploying Tauntaurs, and this is the 1-2 punch. As a Wadroon player, just double deploy your Tauntaurs. Just stack your monsters, because they're so maneuverable, and once one dies, the other one will just fill the slot and keep going. And that's the really nice thing about them. So if it's good, take 2 of it. But so far, big thing on my end though was that Apex did not see this play at all, and he was like, "Oh no, what do I do?" And I'm like, "Aha!" But that's it. So let's go to the next turn. So one of his Tauntaurs die. Yay! My Hellbringer Drake dies. No. Shot. Oh, these are all in blue. Hold on. I'm gonna do that. Red. Shot. Tauntaur, take a bunch of damage. Braves get into my Flame Berserks. Wardens looking to kind of get into the side, but can't really. Fireforged, keep shooting at these blooded. Flame Berserks, kill off those slingers, looking to get into these slingers. And he's got his other blooded in that zone scoring it. So he's scoring this, and I'm scoring this, and then we're neutral on this guy. So he is scoring 2 to my 1 and getting up on points. Not that great, and he's killed my Warlord. Not that great. There are times where this could swing back in my favor, but as Ben says, bad positioning constitutes bad dice, and it's showing. So let's go to the next turn. So this is a skip turn, so I think this might be 6, but his Tauntaur like reforms and charges the Fireforged and kills off 2 stands, and then I have to reform the Drake, who then shoot in the face, and the Ballistae, and eventually goes down. But he's already got a point lead. He moves his Blooded up to contest my zone, and also get into that Drake, because he needs to die, because he knows if he doesn't contest that Drake, it's going to free range chicken him, and just shoot all his stuff to death, so he doesn't want that. His Slingers shoot Flame Berserks. We're hoping to get into Slingers, but they were broken because they lost 2 stands, so I'm kind of stuck there. Not doing that great. Braves, they have War, so they're living a lot. They get, they kill Flame Berserks. Wardens get on the side. I believe Fireforged get a 1 line here, and they can, shoot that. Oh, they also do some damage here, so they probably damage there, but so far it's not doing the greatest. Still hoping that I can kind of turn this around. If I can kind of kill off those Blooded and then kill off the Slingers and a couple things to do better, it could swing to my favor again, but my Apex is staying just a little bit ahead, and I'm having really a struggle to catch up. And it kind of goes back to my not getting my lights, but then also deploying wide. And I should have deployed tighter, and we should have read the scenario before playing. So mistakes on my end constitute this type of game, but we're having a good time. I've killed both Tauntors, so that's something at least. Let's get into the next turn. Here's the next one. Do a bunch of damage to the Blooded, but the Blooded kill the Drake. No! They're broken, so they don't scare that zone, but, they're going to die. Slingers decide to move up and pelt the Drake, because it was, left on 1, and instead of killing the Flame Berserks, he's like, oh, I'm going to kill the Drake. And then my Flame Berserks, rally and charge him in the ass, and I think he takes some more of death or something. Fireforge and the Wardens, go into the Braves, are taking a ton of damage. His other Braves just kind of run off. They were thinking about getting into the Flame Berserks, but also score that zone. What's fine while the Blooded score that zone, while the Braves are kind of fighting off the Wardens. I might be able to kill the Braves, but there's still a lot of them. It's kind of he's got Tenacious, he's got Healing. I'm trying to really break this thing, but it's really tough. But it's just that, I'm just behind a turn, basically. And I feel it, and it's just damn. Reinforcement rolls, fuck. Next turn. So, Braves Blooded, fighting it out. Fireforge only get 2 stands in, do some more damage. These guys scoring, sweet. What else is happening here? Slingers punch these guys to death. These guys shoot Blooded to death. Fireforge run into the zone to score it. Nice. Again, points there. My opponent is scoring both these zones right now, so really good on him. So I'm not really catching up, so it's kind of sucking there. And with that, we're kind of basically almost done. I think this is turn 9. Let's go to turn 10. Yeah, this looks like turn 10, because I know these Fireforged just shoot these Slingers and kill them. I score that zone. And then... what is it? Queen kills Wardens, and then Fireforge don't do enough damage to kill off the Queen, and that's kind of game. My opponent scores 2 zones, I score 1, and that's it. So, sweet. Good game. So I've got 2 and 2. I came in 6 overall. I played Chuck, the guy. It was Chuck. He came in first, so he did really well. And then I played Apex, who came in third, so... It was 2 really good games there. Charmy was great. My round 1 opponent could be a little better, but that's fine. Stuff happens. And yeah, I had a pretty enjoyable time at Michigan GT. I got best sportsmanship. I have no idea why. No, I'm not gonna lie. It was really weird. They're like, and mass from Bonk. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I getting best sportsman? Apex was trying to explain to me because I was nice, and I'm like, I just had good, clean games. What do you want? That's it. So, I don't know. Just have good, clean games with your opponent. Ask questions, talk them through stuff, have fun. You'll get best sportsmanship. I got like a $25 gift card. I bought some resin bases that were kind of fun, so maybe I'll paint in war crimes those to death. But I had a great time. It was a good drive. Driving back, Apex and I chatted a bunch. We talked about the game. Michigan GT was happening at the same time as Worlds, so there's a lot of that talk, and all these people are going off about Worlds, and I'm like, man, I'm driving. I can't text and drive. That's not good. Got home safe and sound, obviously, because I'm here recording this. But overall, I had a really good time. Dinner with everyone was really nice. On Saturday, I think I think there was 14 players. I think 12 of us all got together at one bar and just ate and drank and hung out. Hunter from Parabellum was there. It was really funny. At one point, he was like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Mass from BonkTable. And then, like, all the heads turned, like, you don't know who Mass from BonkTable is? I'm like, ooh, this is weird. Ooh, this is very strange, guys. Thank you, but also, oh, am I gaining too much power? Oh, I just like I do this for fun. Just have fun. But overall, good games. How do I say this? So after everything, Dweghom is kind of getting a little stale. I see what people are saying with Dweghom, and yeah, it's strong, but it's also very predictable and pretty stale. And as you saw, if you don't follow the game plan, you kind of don't make it. Well, it really sucks, but you know, shit happens. With that, however, I did pick up 3 boxes of Magma Forge. I'm probably gonna play Ardent Creed going forward. I'm gonna build those at some point, probably next month. I got to go back to work and all that jazz, you know, make some money, and probably play some Dweghom. I picked up 2 more boxes of Sealed Temple. Like there's an update happening in October. We know a bunch of stuff is gonna change. You know, it's gonna be fine. Mix up the game. It has to happen. Some factions are needing of a revamp. I know Wadroon's on the table. I know Nord's is on the table. Chuck is really making me interested in Nord's, and I picked up a Fenris Beast Pack box from the prize table. It was fun. So you know, I got some puppies, and I'm excited to see what happens with 100k and Dweghom. You know, that's kind of the 2 factions I play. I enjoy them both for different reasons, but they are getting stagnant. They are getting stale. Other factions are getting a glow up. One of the things I was talking about with Apex was that, as we were driving back, was that there is a special rules creep in the game. And I don't want to be like, oh, this is the bad stuff. No, it's just, you know, you look at it, ignoring like Cleave and maybe Harden, mostly like Cleave, AP, and Brutal. Sorcerer Kings has 4.5 special rules, while Dweghom has 2 special rules. So you're starting to see this like special rules creep. What's nothing crazy. Like Dweghom is kind of the stats faction. It's really easy to play and get into, and a lot of people notice that I play a lot of lists / factions that don't have a crazy mental load, because then I can focus on the movement and positioning in the game, and I don't have to worry about any of my special rules or special stuff getting off, or like putting my stack in the proper order. I can kind of just be like, this is a main fight, do that one. I gotta pull a Gimli from Lord of the Rings, where he's like, how many of you are coming at me? 6. Who's coming first? Me. I'll hit you, and then you'll go down, and then you will come at me, and I will hit you. They're like, okay, don't hit us, though. You know, we gotta make it look real, but also fake. He hit every single one of them. Those poor bastards. So yeah, gotta do the Dweghom way. So, thank you for watching, or listening, or whatever, as I quickly kind of go through all these games. Overall, I had a great time. It was super fun. Got to hang out with all my friends. That's kind of why I go to these cons, meet a bunch of new people, hand out a bunch more BonkTable patches to people, and have a good time. So, have a great day. Bye!